Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga, and welcome to Soft Flow Yoga. Thanks for joining me. Now for this practice, we're going to be doing a pose called dancer pose. Dancer pose. So dancer pose is actually a standing balancing posture. We'll be standing on one foot and we'll be working our legs and hip flexors. So all of those combined in that one posture. So we'll be doing our basic warm-up and preparation for that particular posture as we move through the sequence together. Now, since it's the balancing pose, you may want to stand near a chair, a wall, or a table, something like that will help you balance. So that's our first prop. And the other props that you can use for your practice today are a few blocks. I've got 3 here, so this is going to act as kind of my wall. So I'll show you that when we get to it. So a couple of blocks, at least 2, and then maybe a big bolster or a pillow or a cushion. This is actually optional, but then also a blanket or something soft that you can sit on. I always like to have a blanket for soft flow. So let's go ahead and get started. And of course, we like to start in seated. So find a comfortable seat. Feel free to sit on your cushion or pillow or your blanket. Feel free to cross your legs, but you don't have to cross your legs for this part. You can always extend your legs if that feels more comfortable, or even feel free to sit in a chair or up against a wall if you need a little extra support for your back. So wherever you are, just feel the lengthening of your spine, sitting tall and proud as best as you can, and start with breath. We'll take a nice full deep breath, fill yourself up, and a complete release as you exhale. Good. Let's do that again. Nice full breath in and exhale. Very nice. You can just feel your body start to relax a little bit. Just keep breathing. I like to add some gentle movements, maybe a gentle circle of your shoulders. Now this might be good because this can be a nice preparation for our upcoming dancer pose, because we will be using our shoulders. We need to have nice open flexible shoulders for part of that posture. So some circles with the shoulders will be nice. And as we move through our practice, we'll continue to release the shoulders as well as our legs and hips. Just come back to stillness. Take another deep breath. And just settle into stillness. Feel free to keep your eyes opened if you'd like. You can just gaze softly forward or down at the ground, or you can even just close your eyes here. And just focus on your breathing. This is our breathing meditation, helping us to prepare for our practice. A wonderful way to move inside of self. Take this journey inward. As you're breathing in and out, feel how your body is responding to the breath. You might just simply feel the rise and fall of your chest, maybe your belly. And to continue with that inward journey, listen to the sound of your breath. So if your breath is a little soft, just simply turn up the volume. Just focus on that sound, focus on the feeling. This is our meditative moment. And to continue to move even deeper within, as you're able, when you inhale, just feel the breath rising to fill up your lungs, a nice expansive feeling across the chest as you fill your lungs. And as you exhale, as you're able, draw your belly button in towards your spine. It's just a light pull sensation down in the belly. And what you're doing here is a light contraction of the abdominal muscles. Again, a nice full breath in, just feeling the breath rise, fill up your lungs. Exhale. Do that again. Nice full breath in, filling up your lungs. And exhale, gently pull from the center. Do that a few more times. Excellent. How about 2 more breaths? And after those breaths, we'll add a very simple movement. When you're ready, inhale and extend your arms out across the room. Really reach and stretch like you're going to touch the walls on either side of you, then all the way up to complete the inhale like you're going to touch the ceiling. Then exhale, extend your arms out, very active in your hands and fingers. Reach and stretch. Exhaling, completing that breath out as you bring your arms back down to your side. Do that again. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Good effort, good energy. Hands, fingertips, reaching high. Exhale. Let's do that a few more times. That's another way to help release the shoulders, but also experience the lengthening through the sides of your body as you reach up into the air. Feeling like your arms are getting longer as you reach out across the room. As you inhale, of course, the arms are going up, but continue to feel the breath rise to fill your lungs. And exhale as the arms come down, draw belly button in towards spine to feel that light contraction of your abdominal muscles. Let's do that 2 more times. Reaching out, all the way up, good reach, exhale. We'll do 1 more together. You can already feel the energy in your arms. Good, and just come back to stillness here. Just let your arms relax, let your hands rest in your lap. Returning to that simple flow of breath. Still seated nice and tall here. Let's add our next posture. You're going to bring your hands behind you. Just prop yourself up onto your fingertips just to make your arms slightly longer. But also notice how the arms and shoulders come back as you take the hands behind you. And this is on purpose, kind of creating a little bit of a back bend, but it also opens the shoulders and a nice opening across the chest. So fingertips on the floor, tip the chin up slightly, and let's begin. Inhale, just press into the floor with the fingers. Breathing in to fill up your lungs like you did earlier. Nice expansive feeling. You'll really feel that stretch across the chest. Exhaling, still pulling the belly button in towards spine. Let's add another sensation. As you inhale, press into the floor. Feel the arms get strong. Breath rising, fill up your lungs. Exhale, draw belly button in and squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you so your upper back muscles are engaging. This is very important too as we also prepare for our dancer pose, because the arms will be behind us in this position or in that upcoming position. You want to feel that opening up through the chest. Arms can easily draw back, squeezing shoulder blades together as best as you can. 2 more breaths here. Our seated mild back bend. And when you're complete, just lower your chin so your neck is neutral, and you just walk your hands towards yourself to sit up nice and tall, and you can bring your hands around to the front and just let them rest in your lap. Since that was our mild back bend, let's take a mild forward fold. So if your legs are crossed here, you can uncross your legs and just place the soles of your feet together. You can hold on to your shins or ankles or feet or even your toes. But if you're holding on to your toes and your back is rounded like this, then go ahead and slide the hands farther up the legs so you can sit up a little taller. Of course, the knees are bent and they don't have to reach all the way down to the floor. This is where your blocks can come in handy. Now, other props as an alternative can be some small pillows from your sofa perhaps, or even some hardbound books. So I'm just going to tuck them underneath the legs so the legs can actually rest here. I'm going to hold on to my ankles and sit up nice and tall. This is the beginning. We'll inhale, feel the breath rise, fill up your lungs. Exhale, draw belly button in. You're going to hinge forward, leading with your chin and your chest slightly here. Because I'm hinged forward, I can actually reach my toes, but I want to try to maintain a lengthened spine. So let's just stay here. So you don't have to go down too low. Again, a mild forward fold in this hip opening position. Inhale to feel the lengthening of spine. Exhaling, just holding where you are. But just notice what this feels like. Maintaining the lengthened spine, breath rising to fill your lungs. As we exhale, we're still pulling the belly button in for security and support of the body. And because of the leg posturing, we should be getting a light stretch sensation in the inner legs. If you're not quite feeling it, you might want to hinge forward just a tiny bit more, not needing to go too far in this posture. Let's just take 3 more breaths. Very good. Let's go ahead and hinge our way back up. Again, nice and tall. Right here, just hold just to finish. Good. All right, let's remove our props to set them to the side for now. We're going to come to our hands and knees. So I'm just going to swing my legs around. This is where your blanket can come in handy. This can also be a towel. I'm going to unfold my blanket so it's just a longer rectangle shape right here. So I can place my hands here at the top, knees back here at the bottom. Just like that. So your shoulders are right over the wrist, hips over the knees. We're ready to go. This is our cat-cow flow. So it's an inhale to tip the chin up. Meanwhile, we're creating a back bend. So we're arching the back. So the pelvis tips back, creating that back bend, and the belly feels like it's lowering down to the earth. This is cow pose. This is cow pose. Exhale into cat pose. You want to tuck the pelvis under. Feel your belly button pull up towards spine. It's that same core engagement. The back will round, chin to chest, just like this. And just keep moving through these 2 postures, just flowing with breath. Inhale, tip pelvis back. Tip the chin up, look forward, that's cow. Exhale, feel the rounding of the spine. Pull belly button up towards spine, cat. Paying attention to the back bend here in cow pose, right there, exhaling, because in our dancer pose, we'll be creating a slight back bend with the body, just like this or similar to this. So we want to make sure we're warming up the spine and our pelvis to help us with that posture. So just continue this flow. You can move at the pace that fits right for you. Breathing in, feeling the pelvis tip back, feel the belly kind of drop. There's our arched back, heart opens. Exhale, rounded spine, tuck the pelvis underneath, belly button pulls up towards spine. Now go ahead and finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more breaths. Now, one thing that can sometimes happen when we're on our hands like this, whether it's cat and cow or plank pose or even downward facing dog, our wrists can get a little tired. So let's just finish here. Neutral spine, long neck, pausing for a moment. And let's take a little rest so we can take the pressure off of our wrists. Go ahead and tuck your toes. Just kind of sit back a little bit. I call this half hero. Walk the hands back just so you can get the hands off the floor. And then getting a counter position with the wrist, something like this. I like to do a gentle pulse into my blanket just to get a counter stretch there. It doesn't have to be too forced at all. And I'll do that on both sides. Just a couple times. Another thing you could do is just some circling with the wrists. And even wiggle your fingers. So at any time your wrist might feel fatigued, go ahead and rest and just go ahead and get some relief for your hands and wrists. All right, we're finished with the blanket, so I'm going to crawl off the blanket, set that to the side for now. Come back to hands and knees, and we'll set up for downward facing dog. So let's keep the toes tucked. We're going to step the hands forward if the hands are still directly underneath the shoulders. Do spread out your fingers as best as you can, nice and wide. Nice stretch sensation between each finger. It also creates a nice strong wide base as your hands press into the floor. Push or lean into your hands so your whole palm is pressing into the mat to stretch open your hands. Sometimes even our hands, the muscles in our hands can get tight. So tuck the toes under. We'll inhale into a cow pose. That's our back bend like we did earlier. Exhale into cat pose, but hold cat pose for a second. Again, make sure your toes are tucked. Pressure into the floor with your hands so you can lift your knees off the mat and continue to lift the hips into the air. Feel your head and chest sink naturally down between the arms. I'm going to adjust my feet slightly by stepping forward and slightly wider, not too much. And then even same thing with the hands. I'm just stepping them wider. Just making a little bit more space in the shoulders. Keep a good knee bend in the knees. That will keep mobility in the hips, so you can continue to feel like the hips are lifting up into the air with a nice lengthened spine. Downward facing dog. And even relax your head. Just nod yes a few times. Shake your head no. From here, take a few steps forward with the feet to the center of your mat until your feet are flat on the mat right here. Slide your fingertips towards your toes, forward fold, but slide your hands up to your shins or knees and only rise up halfway. This is half forward fold. We're going to pause here for a moment and just really experience the lengthening of the spine. Feel the body as it's parallel to the floor, an energy or an imagined energy even, shooting through the top of your head towards the front of the room, and an energy moving through your hips and tailbone to the back of the room. This takes some balance, so be sure your feet feel solid on the ground. You're not leaning back, you're not leaning forward, but nicely centered. And notice I have a good knee bend here, so a lot of leg engagement to help hold you in place. This is good because it's starting to strengthen the legs. Since dancer pose is a standing posture, we'll be standing on one foot, so we do want strong legs. Alrighty, continuing from here to stand up, shifting weight into the heels so your toes are light, you can easily tap them. Bend your knees so you can lower your hips, lifting the chest a little bit, keeping the spine long. We're now at about 45 degrees. Strong legs supporting you, arms out to the side. Then just drive your heels into the floor to help you straighten the legs. Stand up nice and tall. Inhale, reach up, big stretch, reach for the ceiling. Then exhale, reach out, touch the walls on either side of you. Arms come down to your side, completing the exhale. Very nice. We've made it to our first standing pose, mountain pose. And let's go ahead and check in with those shoulders. Let's roll the shoulders back a few times and then roll them forward, just like that. Alrighty. Let's go through our half salute to the sun, which is our standing posture that moves into a forward fold, and then we'll come back up. Right here. Here we go. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up, big stretch. Exhale, take the arms out to the side, bend your knees and sit back into the imaginary chair, something like this. Keep going down with the arms lower until your hands maybe land at your shins, and you can continue to fold. And there's our forward fold. You can go all the way down and just release the back completely, or just a partial fold is good. Then we'll inhale and slide the hands back up to the shins or knees, extending the spine, long flat back. Pause for a moment, just feel the energy in the legs. Make sure the spine feels nice and long. Then shift weight into the heels, bend your knees, lower the hips, lifting the torso, 45-degree angle there, arms out to the side. Drive heels into the floor, straight legs, stand up tall, reach into the sky, exhale, arms down to your side. Very nice. Alrighty. Let's continue with some standing poses. From here, I like to do a variation of Warrior One, and this will help us also get ready for balancing on one foot. So back to our mountain pose, moving into our variation of Warrior One. Let's start with soft knees, so be sure to bend the knees and keep them slightly bent. Now shift your weight into your right foot and just root into the floor with the right foot. That right leg feels strong. Lean forward a tiny bit so you can even feel your toes grip the mat. The left foot should be quite light, lifting the heel and start tapping the left foot back. just like this, until it just kind of naturally stops, just like that. Now with the arm, I'm going to demonstrate what we're doing with the leg. Right here, the palm is facing inside here. I'm going to turn it to it's facing outside, and that's what we're going to do with the leg here. I'm going to turn the leg out and then plant that heel. Okay, so the leg is turned out at an angle, and we're planted very centered here. Make sure the right knee and toes are still pointing forward. There is a little bit of space between the feet, but not much. We're turning to face forward. And to help face forward, let's make a little bit more space in the belly and hips. So place your hands on your hips, push your pelvis down, or imagine you're pushing your pelvis down. Feel tall and lengthened through the torso. That will create a nice space through the belt line, and then turn to face forward. Keep that lift and length. We'll now lengthen the arms by reaching them up into the air as we inhale. Then exhale, bend elbows to about 45 degrees, and there we'll pause. So this is our variation of Warrior One. What makes it different is that there's not too much space between the knees or the legs here, and the elbows are bent. All right, follow me. We're going to inhale to extend the arms straight up. Exhale, bring the arms down, and bring hands to hips. Let's practice a little bit of balance. All we're really going to do is just shift the weight into the front foot, pick up that back heel. Okay, I'm going to use my arm to demonstrate. We're just going to turn that leg back in so I'm on my toes, heel is lifted. I'm going to put a little bit more weight and pressure into this front foot. And if you need some balance or something to help you balance, a wall or table or chair out in front of you is just fine. So I'm really barely on my toes back there. I'm going to keep my hands on my hips for now. And as you're able, just a little kick of that left foot into the air 3 times. Always 1, 2, and 3. That's all we're doing. Just lifting it slightly. You'll feel a lot of weight bearing in this front foot and leg. That's what we want. And now I'm still shifting forward, but just step forward. Feet are together, balanced on 2 feet. Go ahead and stand nice and tall, reaching into the sky, nice stretch. Exhale, arms return to your side. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. I'm going to turn this way. So our variation of Warrior One and that little practice of balancing on 1 foot. Soft knees, shifting weight now into your left foot. You can already feel the energy fire up in that left thigh. I'm leaning forward slightly, gripping the mat with my left set of toes. My right foot should be light. I can easily lift the heel, easily tap it back until it just naturally stops. It won't go too far. Alrighty, same thing with the leg. I'm just demonstrating with the arm. As the arm turns open, you're going to turn the leg open, then plant that heel, balanced on 2 feet. Hands on hips, push down. Inhale to feel tall, making space across the belt line so we can turn to face mostly forward. Inhale, extend your arms up into the air. Exhale, bend elbows. Here now we've arrived in our variation of Warrior One. We may not feel it quite here, but we're starting to get a little hip flexor release and stretch in this back leg or the right leg. But because there isn't too much distance between the feet, that might not be too significant, and that's fine for now. Okay, let's get ready for our balance. Inhale, extend both arms up into the air. Exhale, bring your arms down. Bring hands to hips. All right, we're starting to shift the weight forward slightly into this left foot. Weight bearing more into this left foot so we can lighten that back leg. Okay, we're going to lift that back heel, turn the leg inward so all 10 toes are pointing forward, hips are more square. Putting a little bit more weight into this front foot. I'm just barely on my toes, literally on my tiptoes on that back foot. With an exhale, I'm going to try to lift quickly, tap. 2 more times. Lift, tap, 1 more, lift, and rest. All right, still keeping the weight forward, just step this foot forward, shifting weight so I'm balanced on 2 feet. Let's take the arms out and up, reaching into the sky, strong straight line through the entire body. Exhale, arms down to your side. Very good. Maybe another circle of the shoulders. You can even kind of shake everything out here. All right, let's go through a sun salutation, a variation of our sun salute. We will come back up to a standing posture to get ready for our dancer pose. Alrighty, here we go. Mountain pose, standing on 2 feet, balanced on 2 feet. Move with me. Inhale, reaching out and up. Good energy through your hands and fingers. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees and sit back slowly down into the imaginary chair. Arms can come down, let your head release. Maybe you'll touch your toes, but you don't have to touch your toes here. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees, extending your spine. Just a long, flat back. Exhale, fold. Now bend your knees as much as you can here, getting low enough to place your hands on the mat and start stepping the feet back. Take as many steps as you need to get to the back end of your mat. You'll end up being on your toes. The heels will be lifted, of course. Palms on the floor, strongly pressing into the mat, and then just kind of shift, lowering the hips slightly so they're still about shoulder level, and this will be our plank pose. Very strong, lengthened body. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees to send your hips up into the air. So this is our second arrival to downward facing dog. I'm adjusting the feet and the hands, sinking the chest between the arms, keeping the knees bent, sending the hips into the air. Let's move into our second variation of Warrior One. We'll break it down. We'll start by stepping the left foot more towards center on the mat. Then pick up the right foot, inhale and extend the leg, reaching back through your toes to the back wall. Exhale, bend this right knee, bring the right knee in underneath you, just bending the knee, sending it forward as you shift your whole upper body forward so your shoulders are over your wrists. And just set the right foot down. You'll be on your toes still. We're going to set the left knee down onto the floor. Remember, the hands can get a little tired, so we're just pulling the weight back so there's less pressure in the hands. Pick up your right hand. Go get your right foot or ankle. We're just going to step this right foot a little higher up on the mat, and maybe it'll land right behind the right wrist. That should be just enough. Lean into the hands, re-lift the left knee, turning that leg out again so you can plant the heel like we did earlier. Now there's still some weight forward I feel out of balance. To help balance the body, walk your hands more towards the center of the mat so you can put more pressure into this back foot. Let's just check to make sure your right knee is still bent, knee and toes are pointing forward, and then I like to climb up the leg. Bring the hands right up to mid-thigh so you can lift to get that 45-degree angle, lengthening through the torso. Just press more firmly into the floor with the left foot. Now we should be able to rise right up. Let's take the arms out and up, reaching into the air. You're facing forward. Exhale, just lunge a little deeper, keeping the arms straight. So this is our second version of Warrior One. Arms are straight, there's more distance between the feet, and you may start to feel a little bit more of that stretch sensation in the left hip flexor. All right, we will be doing another pose to get even more lengthened through the hip flexor region and upper thigh. Breathe in. Exhale, carefully turn to the left side as your arms come down to parallel to the floor, like so. I'm going to rest my arms just briefly because I'm going to reposition this foot and leg. I feel like my leg is kind of turned in, doesn't feel natural. So I'm going to turn the leg out or turn the foot out, which turns the leg out. This feels more natural for me. So make any adjustments with the leg and foot as you need to. And then return to straight arms across the room, like so. Warrior Two. Side angle poses next. We reach forward to angle the upper half of the body. Stay nice and tall, but rotate the arms here. Want to stay nicely open to the side of the room, but now the right hand braced against the inner right leg, but reaching down dynamically. Meanwhile, the left hand is reaching up as if you're trying to touch the ceiling. You're going to feel some energy or sensation down through the left side of your body. This is side angle pose. We're going to get ready to do a little bit more of a stretch sensation and deep lunge for this left leg. Follow me. Breathe in. Exhale, carefully turn. Fold, just bring your hands to your thighs. Then you can sweep the arms out in front of you. Fold to bring the hands to the floor. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you like this. Now, we're going to kneel down. Bring the left knee to the floor, but if your blanket or towel is nearby, get it underneath you, between the feet. And then set the left knee down onto your pad. We're going to rise up and once again just placing the hands on mid-thigh. And we're going to get into this left hip flexor, but let's set this up because we're going to lunge, but we don't want to put too much pressure in this front knee. So I'm going to lean back a little bit so I can easily wiggle my foot forward, way out, almost to the front edge of the mat. So it changes from a right angle to just a wider angle here. Hands on thigh. We're going to inhale, push into the thigh gently, but really trying to extend the torso, get nice and tall. Exhaling, there's our lunge. Doesn't have to be too far, just enough where you feel sensation, okay, in this left thigh and hip flexor. We're going to do two things here. One, we're just going to lean forward just a little bit so the spine's a little straighter, and we're going to take the back bend sensation out of the pose. But we're going to come back into that in a moment. We're just going to set this up. I just want you to feel the lunge sensation. Now, pushing into the mid-thigh with the hands, use that as a way to help lengthen the spine even more. See how I'm trying to go forward? With the exhale, I'm just going to lift myself up like that, so I'm a little bit more perpendicular to the floor. But because of that, I kind of created this back bend. You may feel something right where my left hand is in the low back. So low back, hip flexor in the front, or left leg here. So this is getting us ready for dancer pose. We're going to add one more thing. I'm going to free up my left hand. My palm is facing inside. I'm going to drop it and swing it back. Now it may not get parallel to the floor. It doesn't need to. Just back until it naturally stops. Right about there is good. Okay, lots of sensations. We're not going to hold here too much longer. 2 more breaths should be good. All right, moving out of these sensations, I'm going to bring my hand forward onto the thigh, push to help come out of that deep lunge. Right there. I'm going to lean back so I can slide this right foot back. So I'm getting back to that nice right angle, which will help with leverage because we're going to rise back up. I'm going to tuck my toes underneath back here, hands on thigh, even a slight lean forward. I'm going to push into thigh, using the toes back there too, but push and do your best to lift. I'm going to inhale, take both arms up into the air. Exhale, hinge and fold. Bring hands to the floor. Push. Alrighty. I'm going to keep the weight forward. I'm going to step over this blanket that's here. Step up and over until I'm in forward fold. Now, if you're able to reach the blanket, move it away from the blanket or move it off the mat. Weight shift into the heels. Bend the knees. Start sliding the hands up to the shins, maybe knees or thighs to help you extend the spine. We're coming back up to standing. Weights in the heels. Feel balanced here. Arms out to the side. And once again, rising up until we're nice and tall. Reach into the air. Exhale, arms down to your side. Very good. Now that we're standing, let's do another standing posture, which is a balancing pose. Let's do tree pose. Now again, if you need something to help you with balance, like a wall, table, or chair, go ahead and use that. I'm going to mirror you here. So what I would like for you to do is first stand in mountain pose, soften the knees a little bit. You're going to balance on your right foot. I'm using my left foot, so I'm mirroring you. So you're going to stand on your right foot. So shift your weight into your right foot, bending that knee. Nice and tall through the torso here. And I'm going to pick up the left heel and then the left foot completely off the floor. Now you might want to have a wall or a table on your right side. We're going to swing the left knee out to the side a little bit, even at an angle is fine, and then placing foot on the inside of the standing leg. Calf level is fine, or even bringing the toes down to the floor. That's if you're not using something to balance on. Use the ground. So I'm actually going to stay just like this. Then you'll inhale and take both arms up, or at least one arm up, reaching high, maybe a slight bend of elbows here for our tree pose. So we're doing a standing balancing posture. We're standing on one foot with a little extra support, Arms extended into the air. All right, stay right where you are. Now what we'll do with this left leg, we're going to swing it forward, lift the knee, flex the foot, and then we're going to drop the leg, but we're going to keep the knee bent. Something like this. See what's happening? The knee is still bent, but my foot is in the air reaching back behind me. Okay? Still use the wall for balance as you need to. Bend the left knee or right knee even more. Tip over a little bit more. I'm going to reach the arms forward for a little extra balance because I'm bringing the hands forward and the left foot back. Slowly lower the arms, reaching back here. Now, if you can, reach back and touch the left heel or ankle. It's okay if you can't reach it. I'm not reaching mine, okay? But this is our dancer pose. So very strong in the standing right leg. My right arm will reach forward. This is our simulation of our dancer pose. We'll be coming back to this posture again. This is just a teaser for the posture. Let's bring everything back down to the floor. Let's bring left foot to the floor, balance on 2 feet. I'm going to swing my left arm forward, reaching up into the air. Both arms, exhale, arms down to your side. All right, so we did a lot on that first side, that right side. We're going to do the whole thing on the left side. And then we'll come back to our dancer pose and see if we can get into it a little bit more deeply. Okay, back to our mountain pose here. Nice and tall. Inhale, let's shoot both arms straight up into the air. Exhale, spread your wings, sit back into your imaginary chair, lower your body down. Your belly feels like it's coming down towards your thighs. Arms can release, let your head release as well. You might touch your toes or your feet. Exhale, slide your hands up to your shins to extend the spine. Exhale, bend the knees even more, let the back round, get low enough so you can place your hands on the mat. And once again, we're just stepping the feet back to the back end of the mat. Plant the palms, spread out your fingers, kind of shifting so we're mostly in a straight line, finishing in our plank pose. Hips about the same alignment as the shoulders. You have a nice flat back. Inhale here. Exhale, bend both knees. Send the hips up into the air. Feel the chest sink between the arms. Here's our downward facing dog. Make the appropriate adjustments with your feet and your hands. Here we are, bending the knees more, sending the hips up higher. Strong, straight arms as you put more pressure into the floor with your hands. Let the head sink. There's a nice down dog. Getting ready for our Warrior One variation, second version. I'm stepping the right foot more towards center of the mat, which helps with balance. Pick up the left foot, then inhale, extend the left leg straight back. Don't worry about how high it goes, just straighten it out. Exhale, bend this left knee. Bring the left knee in underneath you towards your chest as you shift your whole upper body forward, shoulders over wrists. And just set the left foot down. It doesn't matter where it lands. It can be way back here. That's fine. Set the right knee down. Get the weight away from the hands. I'm going to free up my left hand so I can go get this left foot and get it a little higher up on the mat. So we're going to create more distance between the feet, preparing for Warrior One. Hands on the floor in front. Pick up the right knee, pivot or turn the right leg so the heel is on the floor. Walk your hands more towards center of the mat as you continue to put more pressure in that back foot. Check the alignment of the front leg, left knee and toes pointing forward. Let's climb up the leg. Remember, the hands come to mid-thigh, not on your knee, mid-thigh. Push, lift, because there's more muscle here. We don't want to put any extra strain on the joint. Lifting here, facing forward. We're going to take the arms out and up as we inhale, finishing on the exhale and just slightly lunge. Nice strong straight arms reaching up. Here's that hip flexor stretch on the right side. Let's just hold that for a second. Inhale and exhale. Now turn your torso towards the right side of the room as your arms come down to parallel. Warrior two. I'm going to make that same adjustment with my back leg. Turning it out feels more natural. Warrior two. Still checking in with alignment. Left knee and toes pointing forward. Arms are parallel to the floor, reaching outward. Side angle pose. I'm reaching out over the left thigh. Angled upper body, not too much. Rotate the arms, left hand. Just brace it on the inner left leg. Right hand reaching up into the air. Maintaining this nice open quality of the chest and hips towards the right side of the room. All right, we're going to get ready for our deep lunge. Breathe in. Exhale, carefully turn. You can bring hands to the thigh for a moment as you kind of lean forward, but free up the hands. Reach out and fold. Bring the palms to the floor. You're going to rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. The heel lifts, so we're more aligned here, preparing for the lunge. We want that blanket underneath, so slide it back in underneath you so we can set the right knee onto the pad. Climb up the leg. This left leg, hands on mid-thigh. Now we're ready for the deep lunge. I'm going to set it up by leaning back. We're going to wiggle the toes forward. Okay, right up towards the edge there. Okay, more if you're really going to take this into a deep lunge, but you really don't have to. Hands come back to the thigh. Gently pressing into the strong muscle here to feel tall in the torso. That's an in-breath. Exhaling, everything shifts forward. Here. And you can see what happens. We have a new alignment. It was way back here. Watch the knee. And it goes and stomps right over the ankle or heel. Perfect. Hopefully no pressure in this left knee. If there's pressure here, adjust. Hold for a moment. I'm going to lean forward initially just to get the back bend sensation out of the body. So I can just hold here and just feel the strength of this front leg because we're putting a little bit more weight forward. We're getting a nice flex or hip flexor stretch. Alrighty. Push into thigh, extending spine like I'm going forward. Still feel that sensation of going forward. Push into the thigh, but lift. And that puts us into a back bend. Now that extending quality hopefully made some space in the low back. So when we do lift, you are getting into this back bend feel. Right hip flexor stretch. Here we are. Very good. 2 more breaths. You can really feel the weight bearing. Legs, or this front leg, really getting a stretch. And of course, the hip flexor on the right side also getting a stretch. Alrighty. I'm going to push into thigh to help come out of that back bend feel and out of that lunge. I'm going to slide or pull this left foot back, return into this nice right angle for good leverage because we're going to rise back up. This pop up onto the toes right there. Hands on thigh, lean forward a little bit because you're going to push down to help you lift up. Use your toes back there too. Lift. It's okay if you lose your balance, okay, because this is a balancing lunge. We're taking the arms out and up. Then exhale, hinge and fold. Bring your hands to the floor. Alrighty. Removing the blanket. Actually, we're going to keep the blanket there for a moment. Use it as a little obstacle course. You can move it now if you want to, because it might be easier to reach. Otherwise, a little push and step up and over the blanket until you're in forward fold, and then move your blanket out of the way. We're in a deep forward fold here. You can soften it by sliding the hands up to the shins, bend the knees more, and extend the spine. Let's continue standing. More weight into the heels. Bend your knees more, lifting chest. There it is. Arms out to the side. Finish the standing, reaching all the way up, nice and tall. Exhale, arms down to your side. All right, let's do our balance on the other side. So tree pose variation. All right, remember to stand near a wall or a table if you need to. Let's start with soft knees. I'm going to mirror you, shifting weight now into your left foot. You're going to balance on your left foot. Good. We're going to inhale, get nice and tall through the spine. Exhale, pull belly in. This is going to help secure the body. I'm going to peel the right heel off the floor. Lift the foot by bending the knee and lift. Let's swing the knee out just a little bit there, placing foot on the inside of the standing leg. Maybe the calf, or use the floor with your toes, or if you need more balance, maybe you've got a wall or a table or a chair on this side. Okay, then take the free arm up into the air, or both arms. So there's our tree pose. A good lift. We have some length through the sides of the body. Of course, we're getting the shoulders involved there, and a hip opener, and we're balancing on one foot. Stay right where you are. Let's get ready for the first variation of our dancer pose. Let's swing the your right knee forward, lifting the knee flexed foot, and then start to kick it back, keeping the knee bent. I'm going to bend my left knee even more. Now, reach forward with the arms to help with balance. Reach forward. Since we have a foot back behind us, we want a counterweight to help us balance here. We're balancing on this leg. Use something to hold on to if you need it. We're going to drop the arms, reach back. Both arms. If you can, touch. I still can't reach it. That's okay. Just reach back as if you're going to reach and catch this back foot and send this left arm forward, just like this. This is our first variation of our dancer pose. All right, releasing or bringing the feet to the floor. Let's take both arms up to straighten the entire body. Nice and tall. Exhale, arms down to your side. Very good. All right, let's just shake everything loose. Let's check in with the feet. All righty. Now, I mentioned I was going to be using the blocks as my floor. Let's see if this is going to work, because it's actually not tall enough. I really want something kind of out in front of me, but we'll just keep this in place for now. So, mountain pose, as we now get ready for our standing bow pose, one-legged standing bow pose, which is the same as dancer pose. So we're just going to basically do the same balancing posture, but let's see if we can go a little deeper. Now, what I might suggest is either use a stack of blocks or books or the seat of a chair. I think this is going to work. Alrighty, so we're standing nice and tall. Have that chair or table right in front of you, so you might be standing right at the edge of your mat. Bend the knees quite a bit here. Let's go ahead and take both arms up into the air. And we're going to exhale and bring the arms down. Just getting ready. Shifting weight into right foot. That right knee is very bent here. Leaning forward. I'm going to start to tap this left foot back, keeping the toes on the floor. Okay? Just like this. I'm going to fold. I'm just bringing my hands to my mid-thigh, folding until I can place the hands on the seat of a chair. In my case, I'm bringing my hands down to my blocks. It's kind of low, but this should still work. I can even turn this block up a little higher. Just have to be careful because it's not very stable. I'm going to lean into the seat of the chair or table. Okay, in my case, the blocks. Rely on that sensation. Strong right leg, keep a good knee bend. This left leg, remember what we did earlier? We did that little tap so we can lift the leg. Go ahead and lift it. Lift the leg, bend the knee, and if you can, bring it in as close as you can, heel towards back end. Let's free up the left hand, drop it, reach back. As best as you can, grab hold of the ankle right there. Yes. Now, I'm just going to take this left leg and just kind of take as if I'm trying to lift the knee towards the back wall. Now, this could be the end of the pose, keeping the right hand on the seat of your chair, but if you can, finding more balance on the front foot, the right foot in this case, and take the right arm forward. And there's our dancer pose, second variation for soft flow. We're not going to hold here long, very strenuous. Hand back down to the chair, release the back foot, both feet to the floor, hands on the seat of the chair or your stacked books or blocks. Take a breath. Weights in the heels, bend the knees, lift chest, free the arms, free the hands, reach up nice and tall, arms down to your side. Very good. So we really broke down that pose. Let's do the other side. All right, sometimes, and that's why I like to teach this class, soft flow, even though we're moving in slow motion and breaking down our postures, it can be a little harder sometimes. That's just kind of a little secret about soft flow. But that just means you're working strongly, more intentionally, so that when we go through something like a power class, which moves a little faster, you'll really have the dynamics of good alignment, and you'll have the strength too. All right, let's do the other side. Let's go ahead and inhale, take both arms up as a prep. Exhale, arms down to your side. Bend the knees, both knees. Shifting weight now into your left foot. Root. I'm starting to lean forward. Starting to tap the right foot back. Heel lifted, toes on the floor. Hands on thigh to lower. Bring hands to the seat of your chair, wall, table, or stacked blocks. Mine are low. Lean into the seat, so rely on your balancing prop. Make sure this left knee is well bent, strong in the thigh. Pick up right foot, bend the knee. Try to bring the heel in as close as you can. Now, if your knee doesn't really bend too far, that's okay. We're going to take the right arm, free it, drop it down, but reach back. Now, if you can't reach the foot, that's okay. But if you can bend the knee more to grab hold of the ankle or top of the foot, go for that. This could be the end of your pose, or put a little bit more weight into the left foot, finding balance. So maybe you can release the left hand, free it up, and reach forward. This is our standing balancing pose. Very strong, very challenging. Hand back down to your prop. Let's release that back foot, set it onto the floor. Hands on props here in front, so you can feel the relief. Shifting the weight into the heel so you can free your hands again. Arms out to the side, all the way up. Reach and stretch. Exhale, arms return to your side. Excellent work. All righty, let's do a nice flow of the body, making our way back down to the ground, and we'll do some finishing postures, ready to finish the class. Well done. So I'm going to move my blocks out of the way, so you can move your chair out of the way or step away from the wall. Back to your mountain pose. Together, inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, arms out to the side, bend your knees, sitting back and down into the imaginary chair. Folding until you can touch the ground, toes, ankles, or shins. Inhale, slide the hands up the legs to extend the spine. Exhale, fold all the way down, bend the knees so you can plant the hands into the mat. And taking a step back with both feet to the back end of your mat. Drawing that straight line, plank pose. Hold for strength. And then we'll set the knees onto the floor. We're going to sit back into a full hero pose. Half hero, what I called it, was we were propped up on our toes and we only came back partially. But for here, even though it's very short, keep the feet flat, or the tops of the feet flat on the floor for a second for a full hero, and then shift to the side. Swing the legs around to the front, so you're in a seated position. Shift your body so you're sitting in the center of your mat, and bring in a block so it's right next to you. Roll down onto your back and bring knees to chest. Our first lying down posture. So while you're here, feel the lengthening of the spine as it completely connects to the earth. Add some movement here. I like to make circles, draw a figure 8 with the knees. It really helps the low back and the hips. And since we did some balancing work, I encourage you to maybe circle the feet in both directions, flex and point a few times, and if you can, wiggle your toes. We did the same thing for the hands and wrists. You can even do that here. And let's do a bridge pose. So it's a back bend. So we've already done a back bend, a very challenging one, in fact, a standing one-legged back bend, but now we'll just do it here on the floor. Plant the feet, knees bent, and we're going to add some support. So make sure you can grab a block. Inhale, fill up your lungs. Exhale, and then lift the hips into the air just high enough so you can slide your book or block underneath you, high enough so you feel like you are lifted away from the floor, but you are sitting, so there's a resting quality. And just hold here for several breaths. I like to get my shoulders slightly underneath the body. It's mimicking getting the arms behind you or your shoulders behind you. We did that several times while standing. And again, we get that nice opening sensation across the chest. And I didn't really mention when we were actually doing that dancer pose, but now you might be able to realize why it was necessary for us to first practice having the arms behind us, reaching back, because we have to reach back to grab hold of a foot or ankle when we're doing that dancer pose. 3 more breaths here. Allowing the body to soften, starting to feel relaxed. Breathing feels normal. And then when you feel complete, we'll press feet into the floor to energize the legs and hips. So you can lift the hips, slide the block away from you, and then slowly, carefully lower your way down to the ground. Draw both knees into chest. Catch the knees in your hands. Flex the feet lightly and then just take the legs wide. Just open them slightly here to get a light stretch in the inner legs. I just call this a variation of happy baby pose. Rather than kicking the feet up towards the ceiling, just keeping the legs just as they are and gently pulling apart to get a stretch in the inner thighs. 3 breaths. After the 3rd breath, let's just bring them both up to center, and we'll take a twist. We'll start by taking the knees, both knees, over to the left side. Extend the right arm straight up and then out to the right side, which will create a twist in the spine. And just settle here. Maybe 5 breaths. After your 5th breath, we'll slowly and carefully come back up to center, lightly flexing the feet. Hold just for the spine to realign here. And then we'll take the knees, both knees, over to the right side. Extend the left arm straight up and then out to the left side, creating the spinal twist. 5 breaths. These should be relieving poses. Nothing too strenuous. As we come to our final posture, in our case it will be Shavasana, a nice restorative pose. When you're done with your 5th breath, come back up to center, hold. You can set the feet down and then extend the legs out in front and the arms down by your side. You can have the palms up or down. Take a nice full breath in, fill yourself up. Exhale through the mouth as you feel your entire body melt, release, disengage all muscles, feeling as if you're melting into the ground. This might take several breaths, several exhales with the sigh to let go. Feel free to stay just like this. Shavasana, flat on your mat, but if you need some support in the body, feel free to use props. Maybe a blanket underneath you for some softness. maybe just underneath your head. You can even bend your knees, keeping the feet flat on the floor. That might feel more comfortable for your back. You can even lie on your side. Just something that feels restorative, relaxing, and meditative in nature. And when you do find that stillness, you can close your eyes, moving inward. Return to that inner journey, connecting. Although you're breathing softly and gently and slowly, listen to the breath, feel your breath. Remember, you can stay here as long as you'd like. Very comforting position, especially after our soft flow practice, which really had some dynamic movements and poses in it. So you really do deserve being here, resting the body, resting the mind. Stay here as long as you like, even as I end the practice, even when I come up to seated. You're welcome to stay in your meditative pose. And when you are ready to move, rather than moving right away, start with the movement of breath. Just bring more energy to the breath, and do that by taking 5 deep breaths. Starting to feel this new energy circulate through your body. You can add some subtle movements to the body. After your 5th breath, carefully, slowly roll to one side. I like to bend my knees, plant the feet into the floor so I can maneuver myself to the side, even pausing here for a moment. And then press up to seated. If you have a prop nearby that you want to sit on, you can do that, like your pillow or blanket. Maybe cross your legs. Sit up nice and tall. Arms resting down by your side, hands in your lap. And just take a moment or two here in the seated position, just like we started our practice, and just really feel that nice complete circle that we now have completed. One more movement together. Inhale, extend your arms up into the air. As you exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Take one more breath in and out. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow, saying Namaste.
Thank you so much for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Namaste.